sugar and spice,
shut the doors and lock that bitch.
and everything nice.
I hope that ain't my baby you talking to.
That's what girls are made of. But does this old nursery rhyme apply to all young girls? How about when they're ice-cold killers? Desire Dennis was failed by her neglectful and alcoholic mother, Lakrisha Isaac, causing the girl to face a juvie sentence for murder. Desire believed she was protecting her mum from a fight that her mother started. May the 30th, 2022, at Jernigan Gardens Apartments in Orlando, Florida. Gunshots were heard around midnight toward the back of the apartment buildings. A 42-year-old woman, Lashun Rodgers, was found by police flat on the ground, unresponsive. She was accompanied by a crowd of witnesses and at least one person tending to the victim. She had a bullet hole to the chin. Officers took over revival efforts, holding pressure on Lashun's chin when she was bleeding heavily. She was breathing when they arrived, but shortly after, they lost her pulse. They began performing CPR until fire department medics arrived. The medics transported Lashun to Orlando Regional Medical Center, where she succumbed to her injury and was pronounced dead at 12:23 a.m. May 31st. Officers had begun questioning the small crowd. The consensus among them was that a young girl between 7 and 12 years old is the one that shot Lashun after her mother Lakrisha got into a physical altercation with the woman. After the girl shot the gun, her and her mother hurried back to their apartment. Law enforcement approached the apartment, announcing themselves and demanding the two come outside. The mother-daughter duo submissively came out their front door with no issue. There was no one else inside the house. Lakrisha was 31. Desire was 10 years old. They were handcuffed and taken into police custody. One officer reported hearing young Desire say, "Her family, they threatened me as if they were gonna threaten me." You see, she and her mother were taken to Orlando Police Department headquarters. Now I do have the mom's police interview. Check this out.
Like, I have a right to ask you when I have my call.
You don't get a call right now.
So when I get a call,
You can have a seat, or I'm just gonna.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
Pussy, fuck ass cracker.
I know, it's insane. This will be on my interrogation channel later in the week. The crime scene was all taped up. Backup was called to maintain crowd control, as the shooting created quite a buzz in the neighborhood. Officers found an empty .40 caliber Winchester shell on the ground next to a pool of blood. They then filed for a warrant to search the house. Officers began questioning individuals at the apartments for more than concrete details. Many of their stories overlapped, but some details varied. Law enforcement spoke with one man, Marshall Tirado Jr., who identified himself as Lashun's boyfriend. He reported that he and Lashun were having a late night party around the grill, celebrating Memorial Day weekend outside their apartment a few doors down from Lakrisha. He stated Lakrisha and her daughter approached Lashun and confronted her about a recent argument between the two. Lakrisha was intoxicated and she was the first to punch Lashun in the face. Lashun, not being the kind to back down, swung back at Lakrisha. Then the two engaged in a brawl, which was quickly broken up by Marshall and some others. Marshall tried to bring his girlfriend back to their apartment while Lakrisha and Desire yelled after them. Lashun broke free and Marshall noticed Desire holding a black firearm. Not even a second later, she shot Lashun. Lashun immediately collapsed and Marshall knelt down next to her. According to him, Lakrisha grabbed the gun from her daughter and pointed it directly at Marshall. He recalled being horrified as he looked down the barrel, waiting for her to shoot. He got up, backed away with his hands up, fearing for his life. And for whatever reason, Lakrisha lowered the gun and she and Desire went back to their apartment. Officers moved on from the distraught boyfriend and were able to locate one of the witnesses who called 911. This woman did not permit her information to be released, so we will refer to her as the witness. The witness was relaxing outside of her apartment when Lakrisha approached her first and was talking loudly about Lashun over an argument on a social media post the two had engaged in recently. Yes, all of this beef was over a social media post. Lakrisha wanted to act hard, and if you play with feathers, you'll get your ass tickled. because look at how it ended. Lashun overheard the argument and told the witness to go inside to avoid getting involved in any drama. Lakrisha then approached Lashun, and the witness confirmed she was first to throw a punch. Let's note here, every single witness on the scene testified Lakrisha is the one that started the fight, as in the aforementioned Feathers. She noticed Lakrisha was wearing a pink backpack, which she remembered Desir rummaging through as the two older women fought. The witness saw the young girl shoot Lashun and didn't see any movement from the victim after she fell. She heard Desir saying something along the lines, "You fuck with my mama, you don't hit my mama." Every witness on the scene also attested to Desir making this kind of remark after she fired the gun. The witness saw Lakrisha grab the gun, then point it down at Lashun. She wondered if the mother was going to fire a second round into the victim. She recalled Lakrisha seemed to show no remorse or care for Lashun. The witness told officers she was familiar with the mother and daughter, remembering that Lakrisha had dreadlocks or braids, and her daughter was wearing a bonnet and a camo robe when it happened. Is it bonnet or bonnet? I don't know. She recalled there was another woman with the two, but the unknown woman fled after Desir shot the gun. It was known by the witness and most neighbors that Lakrisha and the unknown woman would drink together often. There was also another witness, Kenya Griffin. She didn't physically witness the argument, but she heard Lakrisha yell out somewhere nearby afterwards, "You done shot the lady," at her daughter. She recalled the pink pad and seeing the gun in Lakrisha's hand as the two walked away. Kenya helped tend to Lashun while they waited for cops to arrive. And one of the last witnesses, a woman who also did not want her information disclosed, knew Lakrisha better than the other witnesses and referred to her as Krisha. She was showering when she heard the shotgun in her house. This witness turned the shower off and looked outside of her apartment. She witnessed Desir pacing back and forth in the corridor with the gun in her hand. She saw Krisha yell at her daughter, "You shot the lady," to which Zia responded, "But they was bothering you." The two walked away, so the woman came outside and saw Lashun, then called 911. The mother and daughter returned back toward their house and the gun was now gone. This woman asked Krisha what happened. She said nothing, only glared at her before going back into her home. The woman recalled having a troubled history with Krisha. Krisha would get drunk and become aggressive, accusing people of talking poorly about her. And that's this case in a nutshell. Intoxication, feathers, tickled ass. During the argument, the woman remembered Desir demanding she didn't talk to her mother that way. She was surprised Krisha would let her daughter speak to an adult that way, which Krisha responded Desir could say whatever she wanted and she didn't need to respect anyone. The woman knew Krisha owned a gun and that the gun was always in the pink backpack. Krisha would often start arguments with other people. When these arguments took place, Krisha or her daughter would go into her apartment and get the bag so she could threaten people with her gun. The woman believed Krisha would start the fights with the intent of being able to shoot someone. Krisha drunk and Krisha sober were two different people, feathers and ass. While she was sober, she was quiet and barely talked to anyone. However, she was drunk the majority of the time and it was exhausting. Oftentimes, Krisha would allow Desir to sit outside on her own, where the young girl would follow her mom's example and try to start fights. That's just so sad. Officers then searched their house. Inside, they found the pink backpack with cash, credit cards, and an ID belonging to Lakrisha. They also found her cell phone and drug paraphernalia. In another room, they found a camo robe with blood spatter. They did not find the gun inside. While all this questioning and searching was going on at the apartments, detectives were questioning young Desir just down the hall from the mother. Desir was only in 5th grade and stated she was able to read and write. Detectives ensured the child was able to fully understand her Miranda rights before questioning. So then Desir began recounting her version of the story. She said her mother was drunk and told her daughter that she wanted to speak with Lashun, woman to woman. Her mum told her to stay inside, but the little girl couldn't resist and followed her mum out. Desir recalled that a friend was with her mum and was present when the argument started. The friend was supposedly holding the gun. The girl also saw Lashun holding an unknown object, possibly a medium-sized rock. This rock, she hit Lakrisha over the head, resulting in a cut. Keep in mind, detectives were interviewing her mother at the same time. Lakrisha had no cuts on her head and also didn't say anything about Lashun hitting her with an object. Desir went on to tell police that Lashun threatened she'd bring her family to jump Lakrisha. Desir claimed she had anger issues and became very worked up when she heard Lashun threaten her mum. She briefly recalled the incident of the shooting and said afterward that the friend grabbed the gun and left the scene. She said the gun was not in the house. Detectives decided it was not helpful to interrogate the little girl and thought it would be helpful to transfer Desir to a child protective team. Because of course, she was all over the place. She has trauma right now. Maybe what she's saying isn't the truth. So the child protective team began a separate interview that was more age appropriate. The 10-year-old said her and her mum were at the friend's house earlier on. Her mum and her friend were drinking Hennessy. Whilst the adults partied, Desir played with the friend's children, Nini and Taylor. For some reason, they needed to return home to drop off some speakers they were listening to music on, so they took the bus home. It was late at night when they headed home. Desir pointed out that nobody else lives with her and her mum, and they lived on the first floor. After dropping off the speakers, they were going to return to their friends when they ran into Lashun. Desir noted that Lashun always gave her mum a hard time. In fact, Desir even said that before she was born, while she was inside her mother's womb, Lashun tried to shoot her mother. In other words, kill her, the baby in the womb. Desir knew her mum and Lashun had gotten into 3 fights before, 2 of which she was witness to. Desir said that there were 4 people outside, 2 males and 2 females, who were discussing how Lakrisha was always starting problems with Lashun. Desir said Lashun overheard this group conversation and began yelling at Lakrisha, saying she had AIDS and diabetes. It isn't confirmed if Lakrisha does or doesn't have these diseases, but either way, they seem like a very childish insult. Desir said her mum became upset after this and then started arguing back. Lashun left the scene to possibly go get a gun, and one of the males present held Lakrisha back. Lashun returned and began to strike the girl's mum while she was being restrained. Desir told detectives at this moment one of the males dropped a gun. This is when she grabbed it up and then shot Lashun. They did ask her, why did you grab the gun in the first place? She responded, because someone is always messing with my mom or starting with her. She did deny talking to adults disrespectfully or knowing anything about a gun being in the house. She also couldn't explain how people just appeared on the scene. She then went on to discuss her life. She informed the team that she knew her father had been physical with her mum before, but wasn't really in the picture anymore. The child told them, I wish I could rewind. Desir was then released to the Department of Children and Families. I don't have any information on her police interview. Now, all the adult witnesses agreed on what happened. Video evidence was still much appreciated by law enforcement. A younger girl, who I'll refer to as TS, had taken a video only 9 seconds long. This included the shot being fired. It showed the end of the verbal altercation where Desir reached into her mum's backpack as she was wearing it, where she retrieved the gun. She loaded it, racked the chamber, walked in front of her mum and pointed it at Lashun. Lashun was off the camera at this moment. The video confirmed it, not some gun that fell and Desir picked up, which is what she told police. And what's key? Lakrisha did not try to stop her daughter from pointing the gun or shooting it. She only continued yelling at Lashun. After the gun went off, the video stopped as everyone fled. TS, the girl who made this video, she only began recording because she thought there would be a fist fight and didn't anticipate anyone dying. This video proved that Desir, though only 10 years old, knew where the gun was and how to use it. Without a shadow of a doubt, the girl grabbed it and maliciously shot Lashun in the face out of anger. And detectives suspected Lakrisha and her daughter got rid of the gun somewhere afterward. Neither of them sustained any sort of injuries from the incident. Eventually, Lakrisha was charged with manslaughter by culpable negligence, aggravated assault with a firearm, negligent storage of a firearm, and neglect of a child. For all these charges, she pled guilty and was sentenced to 5 years in prison, along with 3 years of probation and mandatory parenting classes. Desir was charged with second-degree murder and was taken to juvenile detention. Lashun's family were extremely disappointed with the small sentence for Lakrisha. Lashun's mum, Laura, said during the trial, God is the final judge, as Lakrisha could be seen wiping her tears in court. Lashun's sister, Sharetta, She said, "This is a slap on the wrist and a pat on the back. 5 years is not enough. It's not okay to take a life and this is not justified." Lashun's daughter, Asha, also said, "I always thought me and my mum would grow old together in her last days. I would take care of her." I mean, the unstable environment and the poor parenting that Desir experienced, it's fair to say her actions were largely influenced by Lakrisha. And you know something? This notion of her grabbing the gun and shooting Lashun, it could have just been her trying to impress her mother. However, why don't we now go through all the crime scene photos? Okay, so I'm gonna start with the apartment in which this incident took place, and we're just gonna run through the crime scene photos just so you can get a feel, get a closer look on the area and how it all happened. It's one thing me telling you the story, but it's another thing you seeing it directly, right? So this is the apartment where she was walking back after being at her friend's house getting drunk all day. Apartment 1440, or that's the block or the row of apartments, I don't know. Forgive my voice, by the way, I currently have pneumonia, so forgive me if I sound like a donkey. So this is an alleyway where I think a bunch of people were hanging out, a lot of the witnesses. And if we zoom in here, this might be her house, I'm not sure. I think this is police just interviewing another witness. I don't know if this barbecue was in use, but I mean, this did take place in May. Florida, May, is going to be boiling outside. If I was there, I'd be looking nice and crispy for sure. So maybe the people gathering around were having a barbecue, who knows? So a closer look at the other side. So here's police questioning other witnesses. The actual crime scene may have been this area. It could have actually been on the other side. We'll confirm as we go, as the photos go along, because there's no blood anywhere here. So maybe this is just an area where the people were gathered and the police have just locked this off just to, you know, gather evidence and forensics and all that kind of stuff. So maybe this isn't the direct crime scene itself. This is a different angle looking left. You got people here outside wondering what the hell is going on. Possibly some more witnesses. This is a little bench area. So maybe they were having a barbecue. You got police here. What are they doing? Maybe just canvassing the area. So this is now from the view where the witnesses are, or those other people in the photo, facing her actual apartment. This is the same place, just facing the other way. As you can see, police is in this area. Here is the barbecue I mentioned earlier. So you got a bunch of trash on the floor, or maybe this is where the crime scene took place. You see the bit of blood on the floor? Huh. So this is a hat on the floor. Trash. Seems like an item of clothing maybe. This is possibly more blood on the floor, or maybe the shell casing fell here somewhere. This is blood stain on the floor. This is, so this is a bandage. Maybe they were trying to, you know how they say put pressure on the wound? Maybe this is what Marshall was doing. Here's the shell casing. There's a better view. Interesting. And I believe this is the other part of the bullet. There you go, here's a closer look. Yes, they were having a barbecue. See, I knew something like that was going on. The coals, the barbecue, is that still the chicken there? I mean, I'm guessing they were barbecuing. I mean, you've got these other barbecues here too, public barbecues. They were barbecuing and gunshots fell off and they must have just ran and left the chicken there, you know? Yeah, that is a chicken. Looks like chicken wings to me. Or is it something different? Let me know. Is it look from the other side? Yeah, there you go. There's a drumstick right there. Yeah, it's all burnt because they must have just fled the scene and left it there. So yeah, I think the local community must have just gathered around. And then, yeah, the beef popped off. This is a better view. Chicken wings, chicken wings, chicken wings, chicken wings, chicken wings, drumstick. So this is where Desir was taken to the police and her mugshot. But given her age, it's all redacted. As you can see, every image redacted. But now we get to Lakrisha. She looks devastated. She also looks a mess. Looking at her face, do you think she's drunk at this moment? I mean, I know she looks sad and distraught, but she could be drunk at the same time, right? Because she was. This is a better view. See the tears coming down her face? The position of her eyes, she's not looking directly at the camera. I think she's just thinking, what the fuck just happened? You know, if you really break it down, this Muppet all over a social media post. I have gotten into plenty of arguments online because I'm a moron and I have too much time on my hands. But for it to come to this, bro, you're just an idiot. Feathers and ass is a polite way to put it. So let's have a look at her hands. No wounds or defensive wounds or anything of that nature. Remember, the child told police that she had a stone, a rock, hit over her head. And you would think in a scuffle of that nature, she would try and fight back, put her hands in the way as you naturally would. Nothing. Hands look crystal clean. This is a side view of Lakrisha. Another side view. Other side view. Other side view. And this is the back of Lakrisha. All while she was arrested. Here's a close-up of her face. Again, no blood, no marks, nothing of that nature. And on the other side, no wounds, scratches, punches, bruises, or anything of that nature. So this is an item of clothing I think Lashun was wearing. Some shorts here, maybe on the victim. Back of the shorts. Blood stain on the right, blood stain there. This is a hat maybe? What is this? Maybe this is what she was wearing, I don't know. Unless she was wearing this underneath. So now we get to Lakrisha's house. This is the kitchen. She has this ranch dressing. I think it's disgusting, by the way. I wonder what she was cooking in this pot. When you see a pot like this, what do you think? As Pakistanis, we would normally make like a beef stew and something like that. And have a look at this pizza cutter. When was the last time that was cleaned? Holy Moses. Is that pasta on the side? Got a ketchup bottle. This is fruit roll-up. Yep, my son loves those. And this is bread that I do get sometimes myself. Interesting. Oh, that's that Nature's very own butter bread, I think. And this is the Pepperidge Farm. The bread is pretty good. I can tell by that red label. But this is the wheat one because it's 100 calories. Interesting. Oh, let's have a look at this. Honor B roll. Desir Dennis. Honor roll. I didn't go to school in America. What is meant by honor roll? Is it just attendance? Is it just something good she did in school? Let me know. So this is the kitchen now facing into the living room. This must be the black speaker I was talking about earlier. The one that they took to the friend's house when they were partying. This is the living room. What is this mess? That's the TV. So now we enter what seems to be the living room. There is a light. Here is a pillow or couch cushion or something. A fan, TV. Is that a massaging chair or something? Coffee table, couch. Ooh, do we see alcohol? I think. Cigarettes, sunglasses, ashtray. Look at the mess on the floor. Fizzy drink, Febreze, shoes. Ooh, what is this? This is, I know what this is. I just forgotten. Is this another heater or something? This is the pink backpack where the gun was hidden. This is a close-up of the backpack. Clearly the girl's backpack that she took to school. Imagine hiding a gun in that. Wow. You're just like the kid would have this with her every day when she go to school. So you're kind of normalizing this kind of behavior, you know? So this is another view of the living room. What's this mess here? That seems to be a cup. Plenty of family pictures. All of them have been redacted. Is that a mop? Or some kind of brush? Yeah, it's a mop. So this is facing the couch. These are some kind of prescription pills. Money. A book. Wi-Fi, right? This is obviously their Wi-Fi. So now we go into one of the bathrooms. This is the linen closet before the bathroom. These are all bed sheets, towels, etc. So this is the bathroom, toilet, bathroom. Bathroom looks okay. I mean, I've seen dirtier bathrooms in crime scene photos. Yep, clean bathroom. Maybe this is something they use to wipe blood off or something. Yeah. Can you see the stain there? Interesting. Now we enter the bedroom. It's unclear whose bedroom this is. My guess would be it's the child's bedroom from this backpack. Interesting. The linen closet had so many bed sheets. So why are there no bed sheets on this bed? All this mess and dust on the floor. Cans, water bottles. That's a fan. There was no air conditioning in this house. I thought all houses in America had some form of AC unit. This is the closet. Nice little setup in the room. 2 TVs. Cheeky minx. That's Lakrisha's room. This is Desire's room. Holy Moses, what are we looking at? What is that a bed or a couch? Wow. What am I seeing? That is a bed. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a bed just styled in a different way. Clothes all over the place. TV. This is a dresser. Lamp. Is that a family photo behind or something? Desire, young lady, clean up your room, please. This is her closet. So this is a closer view of her bed. Wow. Is that peanut butter? What is peanut butter doing on your bed? You know what? It could have been Desire liked to sleep with her mum and maybe she just left mess in this room. Because that does not look like it's a bed somebody was sleeping in. No bed sheets, all this dirt and marks over the mattress. Look at that pillow. Is this a bag of chips? Yeah, I mean, that looks like calories or something, right? Nutritional information. Wow. So this is her dresser. What is this? Hair paste? What was in this? My God. Is that a skipping rope on the floor? Looks like it. So this must have been... Okay, so when going through the crime scene photos earlier, this must have been what Desire was wearing at the time. Police found a bong. Is that a bong? Is that the right term for it? I don't know. A pipe? I think this must have been a picture of Lakrisha's bedroom when they tipped it over trying to find stuff. Wow, they did a number on the house, huh? Yes, it would make sense. Because if you go through these images, there's a lot more mess. And I think these were taken after the initial walkthrough. They were trying to find the gun. And this is the final image they took of the kitchen. So, there you have it. The story and the crime scene photos. Don't forget, I do have a police interview. It'll be on my interview channel later in the week. Comment, let me know what you think.